The AI startup Perplexity nearing a deal with Samsung to integrate its chatbot onto phones. Our Deirdre Bosa has that story in today's Tech Check. Morning, Dee.
Hey, good morning, Carl. So distribution, it's the new AI battleground. A source close to those talks confirms to me that Samsung is close to a wide-ranging deal that would make Perplexity the default assistant on its upcoming devices. Now, this would be a huge win for Perplexity because in tech, defaults drive behavior. There's a reason that Google has shelled out $20 billion plus for that pole position in search on Apple and Samsung devices, because whoever owns the default wins the users, the data, and ultimately the market. Now, same goes for AI, and Samsung is a key gatekeeper, controlling a fifth of global smartphone shipments. Locking in that front door, that would give Perplexity a massive runway to train, scale, and monetize at Google's expense. Now, Google isn't just the default search engine on Samsung devices. It also powers Samsung's built-in voice assistant, and it underpins large parts of the Android ecosystem. So a Perplexity deal that would threaten to chip away at all of that. Now, it also comes as Apple weighs a similar move in a very rare disclosure during the Google antitrust trial, one of them. Apple's Eddie Q revealed that the company had begun talks with Perplexity, saying they were impressed with the product and exploring integration. Now, I spoke to Dmitry Shevelenko, that's the startup's business lead, and he told me that they were just as surprised to see Q go public, because if there's one rule when dealing with Apple, it's this: you don't talk about doing business with Apple. Yet here was Q breaking protocol and signaling serious interest. That's a big deal. And this is really where the AI distribution battle starts to take shape. Look at this wall here, this graphic. OpenAI is expected to be embedded in Apple's Siri. Google's Gemini is still baked into Pixel and Samsung devices. Meta's Llama staying in-house, powering its own products and ecosystem that on their own have huge reaches. You've got Elon Musk's xAI, natively platformed on X, maybe expanding beyond that also. And then Perplexity, positioning itself on both sides of the smartphone duopoly. So really, guys, these aren't just tech partnerships. They are distribution pipelines. And in the AI era, they may be even more valuable than model performance itself, because it gets some scale and real monetization.
So how does that feed into the debate, Deirdre, about whether these large language models are increasingly commoditized, or whether it's winner take all, or if all of them can do well?
So if they're increasingly commoditized, which I, including many, would argue that they are, it doesn't really matter if yours is a little bit better than the next, if the GPT latest is a little bit better than Gemini, is better than Claude, et cetera. What matters is that people are using them, right? Is that people are getting them delivered through their smartphone or other devices, or through WhatsApp or Instagram or Facebook, right? Because that's where the monetization happens. And I think when they become commoditized, users are less likely, most users, right, probably 90% are less likely to care what's better at math and coding. They want the one that's easiest to use, that's available. And so winning the smartphone, right, and a Samsung that has a fifth of the global market share, that would be huge for, a relatively smaller player like Perplexity. It goes from a niche player, which people in tech and even finance, they love Perplexity, but then it goes into the mainstream, and that's always been Google's big advantage, is that reach and that distribution.
I was just, what I loved, Dee, was the Mary Meeker slide deck. I was looking at it over the weekend, and she looks at all these foundational tech products over the years. It took the Model T like 2,000 days to get 1 million users. It took ChatGPT 5 days, and it's essentially free.
Right. It tells you that distribution is key, right? And those were users coming to OpenAI and signing up for a ChatGPT account. I mean, that's a little more friction, a little bit difficult to do than just opening up your Samsung or iPhone and getting delivered the default. That's why default is so important. I mean, it's amazing that OpenAI was able to do that with a brand new product. But now as we enter this next phase, when chatbots go mainstream, what are you getting delivered to your phone that you're already on, that people aren't necessarily seeking out, AI devices?
Okay, Deirdre, thank you. Deirdre Bosa.